On first down at 10. They go to Potts, and there's Potts, 45-50. Potts going to run away from people. He's at the 20, the 15. Touchdown, Potts. Convoy back here, back to pass, looking for Shea. Shay's got his man beat on the dead run. Touchdown, Warriors. Gun Shamori. He's got Guthrie next to him. Double wides each side. Rolling out. Shamori. Throwing down in the corner. The catch was made by Stanford.
Third and long. Play action. Gonna throw across the middle.
He's intercepted by Hunter Webb. Hunter Webb tipped it. He's going to run up to 10, and he leaps forward.
Well, once again, we're back. Touchdowns and tailgates. I'm Gary Crispin with Jim Webb and Rennie Rodarmel of Rennie Rodarmel Allstate Insurance. And today, touchdowns and tailgates, we're talking about Rivalry Weekend, weekend number 10, brought to you by Rennie, who's been at it for 38 years here in Westminster Drive, South Main and Mansfield. 38 years in the business, the number one Allstate agency in Pennsylvania, top 10 in America. And Rennie, thanks for sponsoring not only our big game of the week, we've had a lot of views this year, bigger and better than ever on WebbWeeklyLive.com. But of course, Cable Sports, you've been with me for years and big supporter of sports. What a season it's been.
A lot of exciting games this year. Friday is really building up to be quite a good game between Sock and Montoursville.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. That is a pick-em game, Jim Webb.
Absolutely.
You've got Montoursville coming in 8-1, a 7-2 Loyalsock team that, if the way they've beaten some teams like Shikellamy, who knows what might happen on Friday night?
I think both teams are playing good football. Obviously, Rennie-Mann's the other side of the bridge on the Warriors side. Mm-hmm. And his boys went through the Montoursville program, and my boys have gone through, and Hunter's still playing at Loyalsock.
And now they live in Loyalsock. So who do you root for?
I'll tell you, it's very difficult. My grandson's playing Little League football already in Loyalsock.
Right.
It's kind of, I can sit there, and no matter who wins, I feel good.
Well, it's going to be fun. That game, of course, that'll be our Rennie Rodarmel All-State Game of the Week. And, of course, we'll have it for you 6:50 live on WebbWeekly.com, WebbWeeklyLive.com. It's coming up this coming Friday night. Of course, you can watch it any time. That's going to be great.
And the game has the feel, Gary, of the old-time Loyalsock Montoursville rivalry back in the day. And you remember, I think it's going to be a big crowd and big hype. And it's going to be old-school football. I mean, other than Montoursville throws the ball more than they ever have before. But Loyalsock going to try to D up Mr. Mussina and be interesting.
Loyalsock seems to have been playing much better the last couple of weeks again. They seem to be putting together once again at the end of the year.
Yeah, Southside had their number, but I think that inspired that team to play that much better. They've got so many weapons on both sides of the ball for Loyalsock, but on the other side, you've got Bryson Messina, who's thrown now for 6,000 yards in his career, only the third in this area to do that over an entire career. Tom Shea putting up big numbers, 1,000 yards receiving, and they've got a whole array of guys on both sides of the ball. It's going to be a war. Montoursville continue to win those close games, and they beat Hughesville the other day, only 38-35.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I don't remember a team ever winning that many close games.
I don't
always on the right side of the score, too. 6 points or less in how many games?
Yeah, you talk about character of a team that came together. J.C. Kiefer at the outset of the season said, we've got the type of schedule. We could win all these games. We could lose them all, too. And, you go in after that kind of a schedule, 8-1. They only had one game that I think was a breather, that against Milton, who's down this year. Yeah. Other than that, every game has been a tough game, and that's going to be a fun game coming up Friday night.
Absolutely. And Rennie, I thank you for not only your sponsorship, but you've been around and involved in youth athletics for years. And whether it be coaching, whether it be sponsoring, whether it be helping out. And you've been a true asset to the community, and I thank you for all you've done over the years for youth sports.
I appreciate that. I think sports do a lot more for youth and for people growing up than a lot of people give it credit for. It's more than just a dumb jock. It's people that are learning life lessons and maturity and
I know you and I have talked in the past, but the true life lessons can be learned on the athletic field in a manner that's so important in today's world, where too much time spent sitting in front of a computer or on an iPhone or so.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, your guys have come through, and of course, when you talk about Rennie Rodarmel, Allstate Insurance, 38 years in the business, but you've told me a million times it comes down to follow-through, service. 93% retention rate, around 15,000 policyholders. You're doing something right, but when you do a policy review, 8 out of 10 of those end up saving people money, and I know you're really a stickler with your staff on doing that, because follow-through means better coverage so nothing slips through the cracks.
Absolutely. The key in any business is put the customer first. Do what's right for them, and it'll all work out for everyone in the back end.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a lot coming down, and we better talk about some big games coming up. Jim, do you want to throw it to the next segment? Because
absolutely.
I know
rivalry week in our area, and great things going on. And I'm going to head out of here, and I'm going over to the bridge. And I'm going to be on the Loyalsock side with Coach Justin Van Fleet and Craig McCracken, Loyalsock Senior, and we're going to talk about the big game.
And then a little bit later, I know J.C. Kiefer has a JV game to go to. We're going to be talking to Scoob, Coach Dave Myers, who's handled that defensive unit for years. He's a veteran. He's been down the road in these Loyalsock Montoursville shootout games. We're going to talk to a couple of his players, too, when we come right back. This is WebWeeklyLive.com, Touchdowns and Tailgates, brought to you by Rennie Rodarmel, Allstate Insurance. Rennie Rodarmel, Allstate Insurance. It's all about family, all about service. Jessica Steinbacher, you're here a lot of years as the office manager. Who are the other ladies that are right here with you?
Well, off to my left is Sheila Hunter. She's been with us about 10 years now. She's a customer service representative. And this is Becca Berry. She's our front desk go-to person. And they're both integral parts of our everyday flow here at the office.
You have a lot of benefits here at Rennie Rodarmel, Allstate. One is the drive-in claim center. Explain that to me.
Yes, we have an adjuster here twice a week that will actually inspect the damage to your vehicle locally, conveniently for you.
And what about claim satisfaction guarantee?
If you are in any way dissatisfied with the way Allstate handled your claim, we will reimburse you your 6-month premium on that vehicle the claim occurred.
Those are some of the great benefits. Rennie Rodarmel, Allstate Insurance.
We're at the bridge to talk about the Battle of the Bridge, and Loyalsock Montoursville this week doesn't get any bigger than that. It's been a great rivalry for decades. Coach Justin Van Fleet, seniors Michael Stopper, and Craig McCracken, thanks for coming down.
Yeah, no problem.
Coach Van Fleet, I didn't expect to be talking about this, but last week, a week from Friday, we wouldn't have been standing here.
Yeah, certainly terrible devastation for the surrounding communities, and an awful lot of efforts given by people throughout the community to help out.
And the Loyalsock Creek, my family's grown up on it for years, near and dear to our heart. And the rain they had up above us, 7-8 inches, all the way up into Sullivan County, and the way the water came down flooded out so many people. And I heard some good stories about the Loyalsock football team and an effort you made this past week.
Yeah, certainly, and I think that's the biggest thing. This rivalry is so strong in large part because, really what separates us is very little. Very similar communities, similar kids, across the board, and the efforts put forward by, I know Montoursville's players as well as ours, and Michael being one of the main ringleaders of that whole bunch, are certainly, a great testament to the young men throughout this area, as well as the community spirit.
And again, we're only separated by the bridge that we're going to battle for this week in the creek. And the creek got out of its banks, Michael. And tell me a little bit about the efforts that went on and how we helped out up the creek.
Yeah, well, they had their whole basement up to about right here was flooded out. Everything was washed away. Mud was everywhere. I mean, our effort was just basically pick everything up, put it in the dumpster, get it out of there, wash it, or kind of just
helping out with cleanup. Yeah. And you had a great group of players go along and help you.
Yeah. My brother helped. I brought Derek. And Max Dugan helped as well, so it was a good group.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. And can we mention where we went, Coach? Is that okay?
Yeah, certainly. It was an interesting thing. We obviously have a lot of connections with my previously coaching with Gary, and Gary Brown was in from Texas for one weekend in order to have his jersey retired. And the one weekend he was able to come home, he found his house was completely underwater, and his kids' stuff when they were young, a lot of his records from when he was playing were in the basement of that house.
That's a
shame. So it was very devastating for the entire family. From what I've heard, they've recovered a good amount of the stuff, However, certainly a very difficult thing. He wasn't even able to be here on Sunday because obviously he's got a job to do out in Texas, so he was back on his way. And in addition to that, kids were all over the community helping out, family members, cousins, uncles, and in some cases their own. One of the huge people I'm proud to have on our team is Antonio Blackson, who's a firefighter. He was out the entire night from midnight all the way until we were playing that night against Shikellamy. Until he was about to get on the bus, he was out trying to help people in the communities and doing his part. So very proud to have him on the team, as well as a number of the other kids who were just wonderful kids, wonderful students, and certainly pretty darn good football players too.
And that's, there's a bigger message in football, and Coach Van Fleet, I appreciate what you do for the community and for the young men, and making them young men first. And Gary Brown, I've known my whole life. They don't come any finer. He's a running back coach for the Dallas Cowboys, and just too bad for him. It was going to be a big night up at Williamsport, and unfortunately Mother Nature intervened. So now we have Craig McCracken, and we're going to move on to football. So Michael's a senior, Craig's a senior. What's this rivalry? What does this bridge mean to you back here?
You know, we haven't beaten them since my freshman year. So.
And you've started since your freshman year?
Yep. And you know, it's not just a rivalry between the players, but it is between like the parents on the team, and you know, we're looking to go out and take it to them this year.
And you're having an outstanding season, senior season.
Thank you.
All-state candidate.
Thank you.
Play both sides of the ball. A big fella up front.
Yep.
And tell me about your career at Loyalsock and what it's meant to you.
You know, I can't ask for much more. I feel like everybody here in the school district is family, and I'm really fortunate of that.
And a lot of schools after you on the recruiting trail, and I read and keep up with you. Any interest from your standpoint? Anybody you can tell us you're narrowing down to?
Right now it's mostly the Patriot League schools, so like Lehigh, Holy Cross, Colgate. And then I also am looking at a couple schools for wrestling as well, like Lock Haven in Maryland.
And for those that don't know, you're a pretty darn good wrestler.
Thank you.
And what amazes me is how you don't seem to need all the time some of these other wrestlers need. You get right out there and right after it.
Yeah, I was pretty fortunate about getting back out last year.
Michael Stopper, let's ask you. You've been around the program for a long time. You're wrapping up your career in the bridge in the back. We haven't won it in a while, and I say we because I graduated from Loyalsock, and back then it wasn't the bridge, but the game meant a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What's it mean to you as a senior?
Well, you know, every year, I didn't play my freshman year, and even then I wanted the team to win the bridge just for, you know, bragging rights, and it's just meant a lot, because this meant a lot to my parents, you know. My mom grew up in Loyalsock, and back then it was a big deal to them. This game was like the high mark of the season.
Absolutely.
You know, so I want to kind of carry that tradition on and win it back for Loyalsock.
I was blessed to play in 3 of the bridge games, Montoursville, Loyalsock, and the team that won the league championship that year, the West Branch Conference, never won the game. Mm-hmm. The underdog won all 3 times, and it's just the history of the game. It's a great rivalry. It's Yankees and Red Sox on turf now. So, Coach Van Fleet, any last thoughts from you? I know you've been part of this for years, and you and I, we could talk about it in July and get excited about it.
Yeah, certainly. It's a great game. The biggest thing to recognize is both teams prepare throughout the year and do a lot of hard work. Tremendous amount of respect between the programs.
Yep.
And certainly this isn't a rivalry where you look at it, where on the field you're seeing crazy things in terms of people acting outlandish and all that. It's been a great, respectful rivalry, good, hard football, and I just hope the communities keep it together this year.
Yeah, and I'll give a shout out there. Guys, no stupid stuff. Don't, both ways. Montoursville, Loyalsock, enjoy the football game, enjoy the rivalry, be loud, root for your team, and keep the non-football stuff out of the picture. It just takes away from something so special. And from here, we'll go to the other side of the bridge. Gary Chrisman's going to go down with Montoursville and get their point of view of the game. So we'll take a little break for Fairfield Auto Group, and you'll pick it up on the other side of the creek.
Well, this is it. This is the big battle for the bridge. Loyalsock, Montoursville. Bryson Messina is with us. And, well, I tell you, the final game, senior year regular season against the arch rival. And we're going to talk to Coach Dave Myers, but Dave is so into that JV team. They're over watching the JVs and J.C. Kiefer tonight playing Hughesville, the JV game. Bryson, what does this game mean to you? Final game. Is it a little surreal looking back, thinking, man, it's been a blur, 4 years, and this is it before the postseason?
Yeah, it goes quick. Even playing as many games as I have, every game, it's another big game. But yeah, this is an exciting game. Going into it 8-1, and you don't want to end the season on a tough loss. So. Yeah, we're all excited, pretty excited for this game, and I know they will be too, so it should be fun.
Congratulations. 300-plus yards this past week, bunch of touchdowns, and your buddy Tom Shea. I guess it pays off all those hours working hard, throwing footballs out there in that barren field when it's cold, knowing where your guy's going to cut, and where number 19 is going to be.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all about the chemistry that you have, with the other guys, and like you said, when a play breaks down, you got to know where he's going to be and get the ball to him. So
you get the feeling, does he come back in the huddle and say, hey, Bryson, I can get open on this guy at this point. This is the play we need to run. Do you guys talk like that?
Yeah. A lot of our guys will come back and tell them what they think is going to, or tell me what they think is going to work. And when Tom will come back and tell me, hey, I can get outside of this guy. He's not real aggressive, or we can go into this guy all night because he's not gonna jump anything because he doesn't want to get beat. So. That's good to have someone come back and tell me what'll work like that.
Of course, you've got Comboy on the other side, and then you got the big guy. You got Rothrock, and every time you seem to throw to Rothrock, he scores. I mean, half of his catches are touchdowns, it seems.
Yeah, he's pretty deceiving, I think. He's quick for how big he is, and he can block too. So it's tough to defend a guy like that when you have Tom, Riley, and him, and you got really spread out a defense, and you got to capitalize off of that.
How much does this mean to play the Loyalsock Lancers, a team that a lot of these guys well, Cross Creek rivalry, the bridge, all of that? It's like USC, UCLA, it's Army, Navy, but it's Montoursville Loyalsock this week.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun every year. Even when one team's weaker, than another team, it's always a good game. So it's exciting. Every year is just exciting as the last year. And I'm excited for this week. Yeah,
and this year, evenly matched. I mean, this is a Loyalsock team that really did a number on Chickalimi. So how good they are, and if they put their game up there, they're going to put a lot of pressure on the defense. On the other side, they play tough defense, and they know Messina is going to be throwing the ball to some of his prime guys.
Yeah, they got some serious playmakers. And we have just as many. So. If we can focus on our jobs, everyone this week, I think we should be all right.
Got to be a shootout, postseason coming up, and of course that goal, district championship, you got so close a year ago. It's something that you guys talk about, I'm sure, and ironically, you could see Sock again.
Yeah, that's definitely in the back of your head. That's what happened 2 years ago. You think about that. You're ready for that. But yeah, it's a big one coming up.
Okay, Bryson, I know some schools are looking at you right now. What are you looking at next year? Who are some of the people that are talking to you right now?
Mostly smaller Division I schools, Division I AA schools. I'm talking to looking into the Ivy League and some Division I, like CAA schools like Richmond and Ivy League schools, Cornell, that I'm talking to. So just you got to look at my options now and see what I have to choose from for the next year.
And I've got to tell you, you were just talking a moment ago, Pat Carey, a record that Pat Carey set is in reach of you right now. You're over 6,000 yards in your career. Pat Carey, the all-time passing leader in Lycoming County history, played at Loyalsock for 4 years. Tell me where you stand right now behind a really good quarterback in Pat Carey.
I'm not. I don't like to think about it. 2 games ago, I was within a couple yards of 6,000, and I don't like to think about it during the game. It doesn't really matter that much in the end. So but yeah, I like to just worry about the game. It's not it's not something that I'll be thinking about the whole game and asking the stats and stuff like that. But yeah, it'll definitely be cool to get something like that.
And you're close. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, I know your dad's the first guy's going to say, don't worry about those records. They fall into place. Let's get the win. Bryson, it's been a real treat following you these 4 years. Congratulations and a great run, and good luck. Loyalsock, Montoursville doesn't get any bigger than that for the final regular season game.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Over 30 years, one family of dealerships has grown to include 14 brands at 8 locations. On an unyielding commitment to hometown values, an unrivaled service, selection, and customer satisfaction for 30 years. Fairfield. For fair deals. You're gonna love us.
Rivalry week in the eastern end of Lycoming County equals one thing, the backyard brawl. Muncy, Hughesville. Down here at Muncy's practice field, Coach Sean Tatro. Hey, Coach, how we doing today?
Good.
Senior Jeff Fry. How you doing, son?
Great.
We'll start right with it. Tell me about the rivalry, the Muncy-Hughesville rivalry, the backyard brawl. My father lived down here for years and looked forward to it every year, you two teams getting together.
Oh, this is a big game for sure. Two communities that live this close together. Everybody's friends with everybody. You know these guys in the off season. You go to the same gym sometimes. You play AAU basketball with some of them. You play some spring ball with them for baseball. It's definitely two communities clashing for sure.
And Coach T, as they call you, you have an interesting twist on this because where have you been most of your life?
I'm a Hughesville graduate, and I lived in Hughesville all my life. But
I love that kind of stuff.
Yep.
How does it feel to be in the blue for this game?
Oh, it's good. I'm definitely very fortunate to get this opportunity here at Muncy, and we're excited. This is a big rivalry for us. We feel confident. We have a good team this year, and we're excited. We're going to give Hughesville everything they can handle for sure.
Outstanding. This is your third ball game in the rivalry. Tell me what it means to you as a player and as a senior.
It means a lot, actually. We push each other every day just for this week. Especially this week, this was one of our favorite matchups. And we're probably going to be the underdog this week, so we'll be ready to go.
It's never bad to be an underdog in a rivalry game. I've learned that a lot over the years, and you've seen that from both sides. Well, the Muncy Indians, you've had a good season. You've secured the 3 seed in the playoff, and which gets you a matchup. You're heading up to Wyalusing to take on the Rams. Tough place to play. Give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, we have Wyalusing first round. We're at Wyalusing, but we're used to those long travels this year being in the NTL. We had trips to Cowanesque Valley, trips to Bucktail. We're used to those long road trips, and we're excited. We're excited to redeem ourselves after playoffs last year. Didn't get the win we were hoping to get against Wellsboro, and we're coming back this year for some vengeance. We're ready to shake up the single A.
And, Coach, I think you've done a great job down here with the program. Young players this year, reshaping the program a little bit. But one of the things, the state's reclassification in single A and talking about Cowanesque Valley and making those trips through Nova, the little schools, single A football in Pennsylvania and the reclassification. Tell me what that's meant to you and your program.
For us, we were very fortunate. We're still a single A team where everybody in playoffs last year. We're all moved up to double A. We're the only remaining single A team that still made playoffs this year from last year. And we were excited. We're excited to go up there, and we know we can compete with anybody in single A in this district. And we're excited. We can't wait to get a chance to show what we can do.
Absolutely, and it's a fantastic thing. From a player standpoint, I mean, you know you have the rivalry game this week, which, I mean, and I know I'm talking ahead about playoffs. I shouldn't do that, right, Coach? I was a coach. We never talk ahead. But we're talking ahead a little bit. But you got the rivalry game this week, and you're guaranteed a playoff game. And as a senior, that's all you want, correct?
Correct.
And you started the season out. I'm sure Coach had a couple goals. What were they?
Make playoffs is rule number one.
Rule number one, make playoffs. Anything can happen once you're in the show. You got to get to the show to make some moves.
Any players you want to single out while I'm down here? Talk about your season a little bit.
We're having great efforts out of Coleman Good and Mike Custenbauer, 2 sophomores this year. Coleman started last year, Mike did not, but 2 sophomores that really came in their own this year. We have a junior defensive end, Hunter, and with guys like Jeff and Adam Dietrich, seniors, playing the cornerback position, it allows us to get after it on defense. They're doing a great job with walking down receivers and making our job easy.
It's a lot of fun, and as a coach, and when you got players, and having a young team and working with a young team has a whole different set of things that go along. But I can tell the excitement when I talked to you the other day on the phone of where your team started and where you came from, and you're feeling pretty good heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think we're peaking at the right time. We had a tough game last week against South Williamsport. We got the offense rolling against Bucktail and against Columbia Montoursville Tech, and I think as a team, we're peaking just at the right time. Our goal was to peak at the end of the season, get in the show, and we'll make some moves from there. And I think we're poised to make a good run in districts.
Jeff, anything you want to add?
I have nothing to add.
And Coleman Good, I know, close to being my Webb Weekly Player of the Week the other week. I think he was 8 for 8, threw for 3 touchdowns, about $150. Mm-hmm. Don't get much better than that.
No, I can't ask for more. A quarterback than going 8 for 8 with 100 and some yards.
You can't.
It makes it easy throwing to a guy like this 5 times for 100 and some yards and 2 touchdowns. But he took what was open and made some big plays for sure.
Got a little surprise for you guys. We do a Webb Weekly Player of the Week. You're probably familiar with it. You watch it.
Yep.
Well, the Muncy Indians are my Webb Weekly Players of the Week in the name of small school football, A football. You've had a great season playing against competition sometimes that have a lot more kids than you, but you've done a fantastic job, and the Muncy Indians are my Webb Weekly Players of the Week.
Sounds good to us. We can't wait for Friday night. We can't wait to show everybody what we're made of.
And we'll treat you to a little pizza at OIP. How's that?
Sounds good to us.
Great job, Coach.
Thank you very much for coming.
Great job.
Thank you.
We'll take a little commercial break and be right back. We're over here in Hughesville now for the other side of the backyard brawl, the Hughesville Spartans. Coach Dan Tucker, good to see you, Coach.
Good to see you, Mr. Webb. Thank you.
Good to come down here and see. Hey, who do we have with us today?
We have our starting safety and slot, Ryan McLean, number 24, and our starting wideout, and he's going to play a little defense this week, number 16, Brendan Gardner.
Good to see you, boys.
Good to see you.
And obviously, Ryan McLean, I get to see you in baseball, and you travel and play with my son Hunter and have a lot of fun, and you've had a great season, great impact. It's been fun watching you.
Thank you.
So, Coach, let's get right at it. Your rivalry week, backyard brawl. Tell me what it means to Hughesville, what it means this game each year.
Certainly, it's local bragging rights for our guys. Being kind of an outsider, wasn't a part of it as a player, but as a coach, it's even more meaningful to see our guys win the game if we're so lucky, to go out like we have the last 2 years and play a good game. For us, this has added meaning because if we win, we get to go to the playoffs. If we don't win, then we don't get to go to the playoffs. So there's a little more pressure, I think, this time.
Absolutely. We'll come back to that. Boys, we'll start with you, Ryan. Tell me what it means to you as a senior. You've played in a few of these games, and Muncy, it's like Yankees Red Sox, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty big game. I mean, this year's obviously a little different. The last couple years we haven't had the playoffs game riding on it. So, I mean, being a 4-5 team, this is a pretty good game. I mean, they're a solid team this year, so, getting a chance to get the playoffs against them and have bragging rights is a great thing.
It's basically like a playoff game this week.
You might as well your playoffs start a week early.
Yeah.
How about you, son? How do you feel about the ball game and about your career here at Hughesville?
We've been playing these guys for 4 years now. It's our last year. I just really want to win this since it's our last time playing these guys. I grew up with the kids. I just want to win. Yeah.
That's a wonderful attitude to have, right, Coach?
That's right, yeah.
Hey, and let's talk about your record, 4-5, and I'll say something you never want to hear. You're the best 4-5 team in the state, probably. You guys have been a solid football team all year long. You've played. Tell me about your season, just a quick overview of your season.
I think what's really kind of bit us this year is that we went into games expecting to win. I know, a lot of them we went in expecting to win, which is the right attitude to have, but I don't think we were expecting everybody's A game. I think in years past we snuck up on people maybe didn't get their A game.
Absolutely.
Now everybody's giving us their A game, and we were not, I don't think, mentally prepared for the grind of that 48 minutes this year. We were last year we had the ability to hit home runs. This year we didn't have that ability as much, and we had to, grind it out 3-4 yards a pop, and it took us a while to adjust to that, I think.
Absolutely.
So I think now we've got our mindset right. We understand who we are, what our identity is, and we're ready to go play for 48 minutes.
And obviously I watched the Loyalsock game closely and then watched the film of the Loyalsock game, and the game, as you watched the first half of that game, there were a few plays that were made. That game was different, and that's sort of the same can be said about Montoursville, about quite a few games, and I think you've done a great job down here with your team. And let's talk about playoffs, reclassification. You're AA, you need to win. You get in. It's wide open. You'll get a game you'll get a game you can compete in. We'll say that.
Absolutely. I think, as you said, the AA field is wide open. I think most people, when they hear AA, they think that all roads go through Southern Columbia, and that's probably the case. But we got to show up and play every week. It doesn't matter who it is, and we don't even have this conversation if we don't win this week. So
no, it's about
that's what it's all about.
Muncy, and Coach Roth thinks all roads go through Southern every year. So just so you and I know that, boys. Give me one more thing about being a senior playing in this game and what this means to you. It could be your last football game. I don't want it to be. I don't. The Muncy Indians I just left want it to be. But tell me what that means to you.
As you said, you don't want it to be your last game. Being a senior, you want to keep going. You want to make playoffs.
Absolutely.
And you want to make a run in it. You don't want your last game as a senior to be one where you lose to your rival across town and you're done. That's what you don't want your last memory on a high school football field.
And I don't know if the finality of that has hit these guys yet. When the last whistle sounds on Friday, if the scoreboard favors Muncy, a lot of these guys will never put on football equipment again.
No,
and that's a scary thought.
And it'll be that way across the football fields of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And you and I have been through it, and I don't think
there's no way to describe it. There's no way to get them mentally prepared for the finality of that.
No. And why you want to play your
your best 48 minutes. Yep.
How about you?
Play my tail off. Go 100%. It's our last game. It could be our last game, but I'm excited to see what happens.
I think you will, and I think you guys will do a great job. And again, you've had a nice season down here, and I wish you the best, and I wish you continue with your play, fighting in the playoffs.
Thank you.
Hey, one thing I can say, my dad used to love, he lived right up there in that hill, he loved this game. I mean, he would skip Montoursville, Loyalsock games to come down here and watch Muncy, Hughesville, and it was a special game.
Yeah, and records don't matter, none of what
right.
happened before in the other 9 games matters. This game, it's like its own season. I mean, you got to throw everything you got at them.
And that's the thing, it's just such a special experience for high school players and coaches and everybody, fans. So, hey, good luck.
Thank you much.
Good luck, boys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll wrap it up, and we'll leave you down here from Hughesville.
Over 30 years, one family of dealerships has grown to include 14 brands at 8 locations on an unyielding commitment to hometown values and unrivaled service, selection, and customer satisfaction for 30 years. Fairfield. For fair deals. You're gonna love us.
First of all, Elliot Walker, where'd you get those moves? Where did those moves come from?
I don't know. I just think it comes natural, like once you're in the moment, you gotta do something to give your team the benefit of scoring, and I think it's just all natural.
Yeah, I think it is natural. I'd say some of the moves you make, you can't coach. And you've got, about 28 catches. You're leading the team in receptions, touchdown catches, and interceptions. What do you like best, offense or defense?
That's kind of hard. I like going out there in corner and, making plays, interceptions, and locking the wide receivers down. But I like that slot position, and I like, going up for the ball and scoring touchdowns for the offense and my team, so we can have a lead at the end of the game.
You talk about a versatile player. You may be that guy on this team, a guy that can play defense, offense. Plus, you like returning kicks and punts because you get in the open field, anything can happen. You play with confidence.
Yeah. I really, I can do anything for my team. I do special teams, I do offense, I do defense because my coach asked me to. And whatever coach wants, he knows I'm there for him, and my team knows I'm there for him too.
What did that performance the other night against a good Wyoming area team mean to your club from the standpoint of confidence? Because that was one of the greatest probably the greatest overall first halves I've ever seen a Millionaire team in a lot of years ever play.
Yeah, well, Coach has been piping them up all last week, how good their offense and defense was, and how their defense was only allowing 10.8 points per game. And we just took that into consideration throughout the whole week of practice, and we just were telling each other, we could put 60 up easily on them, so why not?
Wow, that's confidence. Now, there's a difference between confidence and getting too cocky.
Yeah.
You're not getting to that point as a team, are you?
No, we're not cocky. We just know what we're capable of, and when we don't perform that way, we have to come out the next week doing what we can do the best.
This is a team that has a lot of swagger. Right now, you're leading the state in total offense with 4,607 yards.
Wow.
Lead the state, number 1 in the state in total offense. That says a lot about your club. This week, you take all those big numbers into a place called Berwick that has had nationally ranked teams number 1 in USA Today over the last 30 years. What does it mean to play at Berwick to try to finish out the regular season in a big way?
If you ask me, just where you're coming in with you can't be cocky. I'm not cocky when I say that. I'm just confident. We're worried about them. We know what they're capable of, but us as a team, we know what we're capable of too, and we don't think nobody in the state can stop us.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Your confident level of the Millionaires going in. What do you have to do to beat Berwick on the road this week and keep this momentum going off that big win?
we just focus in practice. You know, our defense has to get better because we already know what our offense can do. So when it's a defensive practice, we just really lock in and everybody zones in and know what they're doing.
Elliot Walker, it's been fun watching you. Keep doing what you're doing. Plus, I know you love football, and I think you could play at the next level in football, but baseball's your sport, right?
Yeah, baseball is my sport, but, you know, I'm just focused on one sport at a time right now.
All right. Good luck. Let's go get one more Friday night.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Chuck Cruz, I told you the other day, greatest performance total offense-wise that I have seen by a Millionaire team ever. Since the time I watched him at the old West 3rd Street Stadium out at West 4th, where Penn College is, growing up as a little kid, all those teams, all those games, nothing like what you put on the other night. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was quite a spectacular explosion. You know, it was almost like, you know, 5 forces, you know, the roads, the wind, and the rain, you know, just coming together at one time. You know, we looked up, we batted our odds. You know, it was 28-0 in the first quarter, and then to double that in the second quarter, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things I noticed that, you know, we talked about the Millionaires team, Millionaires being in some tight games at halftime, pulling away in the second half. One thing you're not doing now, you're not making some of those penalties, some of those mistakes. You're shoring a lot of that stuff up that had bothered you maybe as a team early in the year.
Yeah, we are. We're growing as a team. We're growing as a unit. Offensively, we're playing better. Defensively, playing better. Special teams are playing better. So as long as we are continuing to ascend, then the sky's the limit for us. You know, last year about this time, we had plateaued, and we are who we were. We still aren't quite sure who we are in a good way yet. Yeah, we still have yet to play a perfect game. So that's scary.
Yeah, that was scary. Yeah, I told you if you play like that, it was scary. I sent that to Ben Reichley at the end of the game the other night to tell you, Coach, that was scary, and it really was. So now you have to travel with a team that's playing with a swagger, playing with confidence. You go to Berwick. Berwick has all that tradition.
Yes.
Berwick is Berwick. Wyoming area handled them earlier this year. What do you tell your club, and how do you approach that game this week?
Well, Berwick and Wyoming area and Berwick and Williamsport, two different entities, you know what I mean? There's a tad bit of a rivalry there from what I understand there between the Bulldogs and the Millionaires. And just from the interaction I had with the 86 team this offseason and this season, that is the one thing that they regret is that, oh yeah, we won the ECAC.
Yeah.
But God dog it, we lost to Berwick. So that's what it's all about.
Right.
I've even heard some people say, you know, you can go, 1-9 as long as that one's Berwick. The only difference is that, you know, it's no longer Coach Curry, it's Coach Sheptock now. But still Berwick, still Williamsport, so we expect it to be a good game.
What do you expect out of them? Looking at film, looking at what they do best, and what you guys have to shore up that play well to beat Berwick on the road in a tough place to win games because they'll put 10,000 people in there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll bring about 5 ourselves.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to have a good crowd coming down. But what do you need to do to win?
As usual, defense is pretty simple. You got to stop the run. We stopped the run the way we did Friday night. Apply a little pressure on them and see how they respond to it. Can they complete big plays? Can they make plays and keep us off of their back? You know, and then conversely, can they get stops when they're on defense? Because that's the key. Wyoming area, 3 and out the first series. We go up 7-0. Second series, 3 and out.
Yep.
They panic. They go for the fake punt, and we go up 14-0. And it was, you know, the snowball was rolling downhill at that point.
And defensively, you guys were aggressive. You were sending people. You were putting pressure on. You were attacking defensively, and it really took them out of their game right off the bat.
Yeah, Coach Steele got into his mad scientist mode there last week. And, you know what I mean? He was putting together potions and stirring stuff up, and the end result was, 56-21 halftime score.
And I think the great thing the other night was the fact that I think Kevin Brown called a great game from the standpoint of a lot of the weapons you had. You spread it around. Walker had the 2 touchdown catches. Yeah. Potts did what he does. And Isaiah is the magic man that either throws or runs and makes it happen. It was really something to watch the other night.
Listen, Kevin Brown did such a good job, he could have got you on the end zone on Friday.
That's right. I want you blocking in front of me, though.
Listen,
I want to line you up as fullback.
I only got one play of me, so you better get in the end zone that first play.
I'll do the best I can.
My head off the sideline.
That's right. Chuck Cruz, it's been fun. Congratulations on the good move that you have made. Let's keep rolling and go get one more at Berwick and get ready for the playoffs and a run at district title.
All right, well, let's get Berwick first, and then we'll put on the playoff shoes. How about that?
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
For over 30 years, Fairfield Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has had an unyielding commitment to hometown values. And we know how important those are to you. When you think Fairfield, you think unrivaled service. And of course, it's where Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Rams cost less. Check out deals like this during the Celebration event and Ram Power Days event. Fairfield for fair deals. Fairfield, you're gonna love us.
Well, that's it. Another episode. Touchdowns, tailgates, and weekend number 10 of the high school football season. Randy, I appreciate you being with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, you talk now. Do you have a prediction? I'm going to put you on the spot.
I predict it's going to be a good game, and hopefully the weather coordinates.
He predicts that there's a lot of people with insurance on both sides of the ball.
I would say. Loyalsock, Montoursville, of course, Muncy, Hughesville, millionaires making that big trek to Berwick. And they can't have a letdown after they put together the most incredible game I've ever seen over all the years covering and following the Millionaires, even as a kid. Yeah. Never saw an offensive onslaught like the other night. They're up 56-14 at the half. It was a highlight reel, as you had a chance to see earlier in the broadcast, but it was fun.
Fast break football, Gary. It's fast break football up at Williamsport.
Now, Jim, next week, we're going to be doing our preview show for the playoffs. We'll tell you more about it coming up. And we've got a special show for the playoffs coming up next week, as we're going to be doing it live. I think it's going to be fun.
Absolutely, and I can't believe we're into the playoffs, but we're going to be going right through the playoffs. Gary and I are going to kick it off next week and give you a little idea. It's going to be a good show, and it's going to be a lot more than just football. And then we're going to do both games. We're going to do Williamsport, and we're going to do Loyalsock next week, and live stream the opening round of the District 4/District 2-4 in Williamsport cases playoff game. So watch for the information as we get it. Will come out, and it's been a lot of fun, Gary, with you this season.
Yeah, we've had a blast. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.
We've had a great time.
And
of course, the man that makes it go for me is Rennie Rodarmel Allstate, and I have a little bit of insurance with him, too, on top of that.
I got a lot of insurance with
him. So do I.
I have a lot with me.
Well, you're smart.
And we got to give a shout-out to our friend Rick Quigley, that Fairfield Auto Group. He's been a sponsor of Touchdowns and Tailgates all year long, and it's been a lot of fun, Gary. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I think it's neat this year with the new divisions in football, too. See how that all plays out at the end of the year.
Absolutely, and 6 district champions. It'd be interesting.
Something new.
So, other than that, Gary, what do you got?
Well, I think we better head out of here.
We better get on the road.
We've got football. We've got more coming up. Next week, Jim, we've got plans to go live on our playoff preview. You're in for that, right?
Absolutely, I'm in.
And we're talking Rival Sports Bar and Grill Monday night, 7 to 8, live playoff preview show. We're going to talk more about it coming up. And we invite you, the audience, to be part of it next Monday night at Rivals. Jim may have some giveaways that night for the folks in the audience.
We're going to have a lot of giveaways.
That's going to be our playoff preview Monday night live at Rival Sports Bar and Grill. For Jim Webb, Rennie Rodarmel, and Rennie Rodarmel Allstate Insurance, I'm Gary Crispin saying so long until next week. Touchdowns and Tailgates here on WebWeeklyLive.com.
First down, so it brings up second and short. Cavanaugh up the middle, nice trap play. Cavanaugh is going to kick it to the outside, has a lot of running room, still on his feet. He's at the 30, and he's just got some speed. And boom, that's the Park Pizza touchdown. Flank to the right. Got the reverse. Williams hits it to the outside. He's got a lot of room. He's to the 40, 30, to the 20. One man to beat. Is he going to get him? And he's in. Kick. Walker's going to field it on the fly at the 30-yard line. Makes a sky miss. Going to set up the wall. Here he goes. Gets to the outside. And he's got a couple of them already knocking a guy around. How would you like to try to get around him? I think Walker's going to walk in.